investor and you're still struggling to get your first real estate deal, but you just don't know where to get the money to fund your deal? Or are you a wholesaler and you've been wholesaling some deals and collecting some assignment fees, but there's some deals that you want to stay in, but you haven't been able to because you don't have the funding? Or are you a seasoned real estate investor? You've done a ton of deals, but you're just sick and tired of paying high interest rates and having to deal with hard money, and you would just like to have some really easy funding? Well, if you answered yes to any of those three questions, don't go anywhere, because I'm getting ready to plug you into the money right now. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Private Money Academy podcast. I'm Jay Conner, your host of the show, also known as the Private Money Authority. And before I bring on my special guest today, I told you just a moment ago I was going to plug you into the money. And how in the world am I going to do that? Well, I just released my brand new book, which is called Where to Get the Money Now, subtitle, How and Where to Get the Money for Your Real Estate Deals Without Relying on Traditional or Hard Money Lenders. And this book just hit #1 on Amazon bestseller list just a couple of months ago. And I can save you $20. I'll send you the book. The book is free, just cover delivery with a couple of bucks. We'll rush it right out to you, and you can get it at www.jayconner.com/book, BOOK. Again, you can get this book at jayconner.com, jayconner.com/book. And how in the world am I qualified to tell you about all this money? Well, in short, my wife, Carol Joy, and I have been investing here in Eastern North Carolina since 2003. We've rehabbed about 450 houses. I lost my lines of credit in 2009. I learned about private money, not hard money. I learned about private money. And since that time, I've never missed out on a deal for not having the funding. This book will actually show you how to not only not take any of your own money to the closing table, but get a big check, receive multiple checks on every deal that you do. Go pick it up at www.jayconner.com/book. I'll autograph it for you. We'll get it rushed right out. Well, my special guest today is a true innovator and creator in the real estate investment industry. One of his big specialties is he actually creates software and tools and services that help real estate investors do things better and faster. And who would not want to get things done faster and better and more organized than chasing your tail around all day and trying to keep up with pieces of paper everywhere, right? In addition to that, my special guest is passionate about finding answers to the problems that hold real estate investors back from growing and scaling their business. I mean, are you a real estate investor and you've been doing a few deals, but you'd really like to grow it, but you just feel like you're maxed out all the way and you just don't have any more time on your hands, and you really want to grow your business, you want to, scale it, but you feel like, wow, if I just had some more hours in a day, then I could do that. Well, guess what? My special guest here in just a second is going to show you how to create more hours in a day, quote unquote, so you can get things done so much more efficiently. In addition to that, my special guest has sold, he's managed hundreds of investment properties with well over a decade of experience in the industry. In addition to that, he's a family man. He believes that every real estate investor can achieve success and financial security in this real estate investing industry without compromising your free time. I mean, after all, why are you interested, or why did you get into real estate investing? Because you wanted to free up some time, right? The only thing is you need the right tools in order to achieve and enjoy that. My special guest is also a very, very highly sought after speaker in both real estate investing and software solutions. With that, a special welcome to my friend and special guest, Mr. Robert Syfert. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jay. And that probably was the best introduction I've ever had before.
Well, how many podcasts have you been on?
I have been on a lot, and that by far was the best intro I've ever heard.
Well,
I
that's
need
great.
to
Well,
copy and send it to everybody.
at least I was able to tell the truth about you. We'll at least say that, right?
I appreciate that kindly, and it was all true, and I absolutely love it. That was great. Thank
Well,
you.
Robert, we can't wait. We can't wait to hear about like creating time out of thin air, how to really put our business on automatic, how to use software to really help us run our business instead of our business running us. But before you spill the beans on your expertise on using software and tools that enable us to achieve that as real estate investors, are you ready? You got your seatbelt on?
I'm always ready.
All right. Awesome. Like my good friend, Miss Beulah Rayner, who lived to be 102 and a half. She used to always say, Jay, I'm sitting on ready. So here we go. So what got you into real estate, Robert?
Man, this is to give the shortest version of the story. I wanted to do real estate since I was 18 years old and saw a Russ Whitney commercial about if his family just had another house, how much better their life would be. And then I spent well over a decade not doing real estate, but wishing I could, and thought about it and studied it and learned it. So I always wanted to do it, went to a Rich Dad, Poor Dad seminar, and just found myself never taking the actions. A lot of fears held me back until I finally probably hit the worst time of my life financially, had no money, facing eviction, major surgeries for my wife the year before, and decided that it was finally time to go all into real estate. And go after my dreams versus worrying about all the fears that I have that I believe led me to where I was in the worst place I could be. Ooh, there went my lighting. So that's in short, I got started in real estate because I always wanted to, and then I finally shifted my mindset from being in fear all the time to just taking action and learning from there and moving forward and the rest is history as far as they speak. I've never done anything but real estate since that moment.
What year did you start?
So full time, that eclipse moment was 2013, I want to say. And a couple of years before that, I was kind of like trying to part-time do it and figure it out and never getting anywhere, not getting any deals done. Studying another thing and let me send out a bandit sign thing and get phone calls, but can't sell them or make money. And then finally, a mentor of mine in my business actually said, you're just trying to chase two things at the same time. And that was like a light bulb moment. That was like, I get it. I think he meant for me to work 100% on the career I was at. But I took it as, this is why the real estate thing never worked. I need to quit working everything else and go all into real estate. Not recommending that to anyone, but that's what worked for me.
So did you focus on starting out in single family houses or commercial or what kind of real estate? I mean, self-storage, land, I mean, there's all kinds.
Yeah, there is all kinds. I actually learned that was one of my fears that held me back. A Rich Dad, Poor Dad seminar opened my eyes to 30 different ways you could make money. And I said, oh, okay, now I got to decide. For me, it was single family. I always had a passion for the single family. So I got started in single family, and not knowing the terms back then, I started off wholesaling and primarily focused on rental properties.
Gotcha. So what does your organization look like today?
So the real estate business itself, the buying and selling of homes, I'm actually, ironically, built it to a point that I'm currently in the middle of selling that business. And I've sold parts of it here and there throughout the years as I built a software company and services business. So I had built a massive turnkey operation that had property management businesses, rehab divisions. Currently, that operation no longer. I sold all the property management business a couple of years ago. We currently have, I want to say, around 10 to 12 people in the office here in Tampa. We do some rehabs, we do some wholesales, we do some wholetail, we refer out our in-house realtor, but I'm selling that business to my partner. And I'll still continue to do real estate, but more on the lower scale. I have a niece that I'm teaching. She's learning commercial and driving for dollars, and we'll flip a house here and there just for the fun of it. But that'll be my buying and selling part of what I do.
You sort of touched on it a little bit, but let's dive down. What were some of your early struggles when you were starting out, and the lessons learned that our viewers and listeners can learn from your early struggles?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway that everyone can have, no matter where you're at and starting out, is right here. It's between your 6 inches between your ears. And why I say that is no matter what level you're at, your mindset is the only thing that's holding you back from the next place you want to go. So whether that's your first deal, your 100th deal, your 10,000th deal, your mind is the only thing preventing you from getting there. So face those, be aware that there are fears that are holding you back, and they're usually your own self-limiting beliefs. And if you dive into that and spend your time there, generally you'll find that it's something in your childhood, your life, or an experience that's preventing you. At least that's been my experience that's held me back. And as soon as you're ready to face that, doors tend to start opening in the things that you need, want, and that will progress you. Now, from the business side of it, some things are, you answered it right in the beginning of your show, the fear of, I could find deals, but I'm not going to have any money. Well, go get Jay's free book, and there you go. Problem solved. I didn't have that option back then. Finding money was a problem. So I wholesaled everything just to make money until I figured out how to do private money. So again, don't let your mind hold you back on that. But you also have a head start with his book to answer that question for you. Some of the other things were, I thought for some reason I was going to get into real estate and just have all this magical time with my family, and there's so much millions made and it wouldn't be hard work. And I found out it was a whole lot of hard work, and I worked more hours than I ever did before working for someone else. And so some of those were the hard lessons along the way, was figuring out what I didn't need to do and what I could outsource to other people, right? I came from the background of no one could do it better than me, hustle harder kind of stuff. So I always try to do everything, and you just run into a brick wall. I made a lot of money and I had no time. So then I had to flip that and say, okay, I don't need to do all this stuff. There's a lot of simple stuff that a very inexpensive VA could do. There's stuff that software automates and makes it get done for me without my need or know-how. And there's just a bunch of stuff that is keeping me busy, but really doesn't even need to get done. So those were a lot of the hard lessons and the things that I would say in the beginning. Again, it still comes down to your mindset, and hire sooner than you think you need to for even if it's as simple as a $100 a week VA that just does all your paperwork for you, right? If you hate doing paperwork, as an example.
Yeah, so you just mentioned, you're not talking about doing the rehabbing yourself. It reminds me, I had a student tell me one time, of course, I preach and teach, don't do your own rehab. There's no way you can scale your business like that. And the student at the event says, but Jay, I love rehabbing my own houses. It's like therapy to me. And I paused and I thought for a moment, and I says, well, I'll tell you what, anybody that rehabs their own houses, in my opinion, needs therapy.
Yeah, I definitely never got caught in the rehabbing my own houses. Thankfully, that was the easy one.
Mercy. Hey, look, do I look like I know how to swing a hammer? I mean, come on, give me a break. Yeah, so now you also talked about your mindset's got to be right, and it's fear, and it's your mindset that really holds most real estate investors back, even after they've been educated, the fear of taking action. So how do you, if someone's having problems, which is very common, if someone's struggling with the mindset and being able to move forward, take action, get past the fear, how do you recommend they fix that?
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, if you have the wherewithal to do it, hiring a coach by far is the simplest solution, right? Because they're going to hold you accountable. They're going to push you to do things. They're going to help you even figure out what those things are that you don't even realize might be your fears, right? So and I've hired coaches in every area of my life and continue to do and always will. Beyond that, the first thing, and just giving you a nugget of something that's come to me more recently regarding this, is facing your fears and realizing what I've started to experience recently is when I'm asking questions or I'm wondering or pondering something, the action that I need to take, I am noticing is becoming the first thought that I have. Behind that first thought, if you delay and don't take action, or all the reasons why it won't work. All the fears start creeping in. All the negative language that you've had your whole life starts talking to you, right? So I'm starting to recognize more recently than ever before that if you just act immediately in the face of your fears, you're already going to start down. And in that, you're rewiring your brain. So as you do that, right, it could start as simple as you don't want to wake up and your alarm clock goes off, but you have a plan based on your alarm clock going off. Just not hitting snooze today is going to make it better for you to do that tomorrow. But if you wait 5 seconds, 6 seconds, you're going to hit snooze because all the negative chatter comes in. I could get up an hour later, etc. But relate that to anything that you're afraid to do. I can almost guarantee that the first thought you have is the positive one that you should do, and it's the one we avoid doing. So do your best to do that. And whenever you have the opportunity, hire a coach that's done what you're trying to do that can help you, because they're going to eliminate a lot of the fears you have, because they're just going to tell you something you're not. Usually we have a fear of something that we don't know. So if they know something you don't, it helps eliminate your fear.
I'm visiting with my special guest today, Robert Syfert. An amazing background, what a journey he has. And if you would like to connect with Robert Syfert, he has got a special website, which is and who in the world can forget this, www.realestateinvestor.com, realestateinvestor.com. I love your website there. Now, Robert, you mentioned just a moment ago, we're talking about mindset. Which book in the subject of mindset and, getting your head on straight, what book have you gifted more than any other book?
Magic by Rhonda Byrne, hands down.
I think Magic, but how do you spell the author?
So she's the same author of The Secret, and it's RHONDA. And then her last name, I think, is BYRNE, but I've probably given away north of 100 of those books just because it's that foundational to my journey, and I think anybody's.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So as I introduced you, Robert, your expertise is software, tools, resources that makes this thing called real estate investing so much easier to navigate and run, and keeps you from running around with your hair on fire all day long. So first question, how did you get into the software development? My guess is you had a problem that needed fixing.
Well, you're a very smart wizard. Yeah, I had a problem in scaling my business, and it was all over boards and sheets and people, right? And scaling, and like, this is just a mess. How are we going to go into 10 more states like this? And so we started looking at software options, and there weren't any that did exactly what we did. So we built it, and we solved our own problem. And in solving our problem, we found all these different ways in technology that was out there to automate a whole bunch of stuff we were doing. So we eliminated things like, we had a VA running comps on every deal before a salesperson looked at it. We had VAs doing all of the follow-up in between someone saying maybe, not now, etc. And we automated all that. So I literally saved like $4,000 a month in overhead by shifting it all to software. And, it took me over a year to do that and build that, and tens of thousands of dollars. And then we walked into a private mastermind in a coaching session, shared one of the pieces we automated and the impact it had on our business in a huge way, positively. And the whole room was like, so I want that. How do we get it? Like, well, I built it for me. I don't have an answer to that question. And then obviously that turned into, all right, I guess I'm going to be in the software business now because there's a massive need. And flew out, met some people, hired a mentor, and launched into the software business several years ago. And it's been a big thing for us since then.
So give us an overview. Like, you made that presentation to your mastermind group, and they're like salivating, saying, I want that, I want that, I want that. So give us a 30,000 foot view. What different types of tasks, et cetera, does this software do for us?
Yeah, the main thing is keeping you organized, stacking your list and compiling it all in one place so it's clean and simple. So you're organized first and foremost, and you know what to do every day. Then the base core of what made it so sexy back then to everyone is we were the first to start doing tons of automated follow-up and changing it based on where the person was in the pipeline. They just contacted you, they're a lead you spoke with, you made an offer to, right? And so the way the system talked through emails and text messages and voicemails from you or someone on your team, and even one-off postcards, thank you cards, etc., were all automatically and precisely timed to just go out of the system. So that in and of itself was the biggest game changer of the system. And then it automated like, oh, this lead has an appointment, so it assigns it automatically to the person that runs your appointments. Or it's, we got to go inspect it. It automatically assigns it to the person that's supposed to inspect it so they can go take photos and do their job. It's ready to be, it's under contract. It automatically assigns it to the person, you or the person on your team that's responsible for getting it closed. It makes it super simple with a click of a button to do every single thing that you're going to do in your business, from marketing to people all the way to closing your deals. And if you're a wholesaler, it even push button markets it out to all your buyers, while at the same time, the automation is really cool about being able to continue to foster your relationships with your buyers, your sellers, your private lenders, your agents you may work with, your contractors, etc., and gives one place where everything is centralized, so you don't have to log into 5 different systems, go to 10 different whiteboards, etc.
So let's say that the real estate investor, there's a real estate investor listening here to the show, and they go, I'm just not tech savvy. I'm not like a computer kind of guy. So how user friendly is this for someone that isn't used to having all that stuff organized?
Yes, super user friendly. That was exactly why we designed it the way we did. So there is flexibility and customization capable for the tech friendly guy that wants to go in and play and configure and move stuff around. But we built it so that the day you sign up, there's everything I just mentioned. It already does all that. You don't go do anything. It literally just has a blinking light. You click the blinking light, which is pretty obvious too. It's a blinking red light, so it stands out. And when you click it, you'll see a big, huge button that says call or text. You call your person, and then there's a button that asks you, what did you do? Make an offer. And it literally said, did you make an offer? Do you need to call them back? Did you make an appointment? You click that simple thing, and it's all on one screen. You're not changing things. So we made it, and we continue to, by the way, take user feedback with the thousands of members we have and continue to refine. And is there any other way that we can make it even simpler? Can we make it where your 102-year-old grandma comes in ready and she doesn't even need to know real estate to know how to use the system?
I got you. So what year did you come out with the software?
So we built it for ourselves to solve our problem in 2016, throughout 2016, late 2015, throughout 2016. When we were really scaling up and I moved. And then January 2017, we went into development full bore for people. And so late 2017 is when we started taking on actual users once we finished building it.
Awesome. Well, I know we've got folks here that are going to want to learn how to get plugged into this software. Should they just go to your website, realestateinvestor.com?
Yeah, that's a simple way. Or if you guys have I don't know if the team sent you a link, they can just click there and it'll take them directly to the software proportion, because we do a lot of other stuff at realestateinvestor.com as well.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds good. So would you say that this software is like a CRM that is specialized for us real estate investors?
Yeah, 100%. It is a CRM that was built by tech people, but built for my real estate business to operate everything that it did throughout. And so it was built with me in mind specifically. And then as we brought in actual people besides me, we continue to refine what others did that I didn't, and make it perfect for all real estate investors.
Right. Does it have the capability of, like, when someone responds to marketing, depending on if it's a phone call or whatever that they're calling in or whatever, does your software integrate with say, other systems to where it like automatically fills in and populates the CRM instead of having a VA having to like manually type in each new contact?
Yeah, the really cool thing is, and we have open integrations through API and Zapier for anybody that has some other tool they use for stuff like that, that'll integrate and pull in. We also have some of what you're mentioning already built in. So like if you had a marketing list, you can load it in the back end of our prospecting. And then when anyone calls in from any marketing, fills out an online form, if you do online marketing, whatever capacity it is, any address or phone number that matches up something on your list autofills in everything else you had on your list.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Wonderful. And also, Robert, I believe you've got some free gifts to give away, or a gift to give away, right?
I don't know if I do.
Well, actually, you do. Because your assistant sent it to me.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what they are, but I'm sure they're good. So let's put this up on the screen for our viewers. It's realestateinvestor.com/Robert dash, the actual dash, and gifts, plural, GIFTS. So, hey, look, Robert, you're giving away more than one gift, right?
I'm going to take a guess and say the gifts are probably some of the real estate stuff that I have, like some of my contracts and ways that I approach business with exact scripting on how to do it to get started and get going. And follow-up sequences that I've paid thousands of dollars to have copywritten for real estate. So I probably gave all that away as my guess. If I was going to take a guess.
There you go. So again, folks, his main website is realestateinvestor.com. And you can check out the mystery gifts at realestateinvestor.com/Robert and then the dash gifts, GIFTS. So Robert, in this software, it just sounds like it's exactly what real estate investors use. I mean, me and my team, we've been using the same CRM now for probably 4 years rather, to keep up. I mean, thank goodness I've not looked at a piece of paper with a property lead sheet information on it in about 4 years. It's all, in the software. But I really like that it's, integrated with, when you have other marketing campaigns come in, that it auto populates. It also sounds to me like that you've learned from experience. And of course, I know it as well. The money in this business is in the follow up.
Yes.
The money is in the follow up. It's like, I make an offer today on a house and they tell me to go fly a kite or whatever. Well, I've learned that somebody that tells me to fly a kite wants me to put some wind back in their sail in about 30 or 60 days from now, because life and circumstances changes, right, Robert?
Yeah, absolutely. Follow up, follow up, follow up. It is anything to do with any sale is all about the follow up. There's Harvard studies, Google studies, tons of them that would tell you multiple times, all about the goals and the follow up.
That sounds fantastic. Well, Robert, I have just really enjoyed learning about the software. I know our viewers and listeners want to check out this software. And parting comments, Robert, final piece of advice that you would give to our listeners.
Yeah, biggest one I'll come back to is it's going to be the 6 inches between your ears. And in life, the biggest lesson that I've had is facing those. And the easiest way to face those is to do the thing immediately that comes to your mind that you're afraid to do. The more you do that, the better life you're going to have. And if you get magic, you'll start every day being grateful and in a place of gratitude to start your day, which will make your mind more open to possibility.
Robert, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Jay. It's been a pleasure.
You betcha. There you have it, folks. Robert Syfert, realestateinvestor.com. And be sure and check out what Robert has to offer for you there. Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of the Private Money Academy podcast, Real Estate Investing with Jay Conner. I'm Jay Conner, your host, the Private Money Authority, wishing you all the best. Here's to taking your business to the next level. And we'll see you right here on the next Private Money Academy podcast.